Take a look inside Road to Respect, the new Sopranos game.
The Sopranos, arguably the greatest TV show of all time. It's critically acclaimed, it has won countless awards, and has a dedicated fan base like no other, keeping the show alive years later. So, it's only right its video game counterpart is the same, right? Oh, yeah, that probably wasn't such a smart assumption. The Sopranos Road to Respect was a game released on November 9, 2006, developed by 7 Studios and published by THQ. Road to Respect is a beat-em-up slash hack and slash type of game that sees you playing as Joey LaRocca, Big Pussy's son, as he climbs the mafia ladder in hopes of getting made and making his own legacy. So, with this game being a beat-em-up, this made part of the gameplay really unique to say the least. The reason I say unique is because I could almost guarantee anyone who's a fan of The Sopranos and hears of this game for the first time is going to immediately think it's a GTA clone, or they definitely won't guess it's a fighting game. And for the most part, I feel conflicted about it, because, well, the combat isn't anything unique or groundbreaking. It works like a typical beat 'em up, seeing you use blocking, light and heavy attacks with combo moves involved. Also, clicking circle lets you grapple to then use a special ability, which ranges from literally breaking a guy's balls to shooting a man in the head during a fight. Another aspect of combat is picking up objects. The objects are honestly OP, sometimes making combat too easy, so there's really not much to say. The other aspect of combat are these hotspots that let you do special moves on people using the environment around you. This was honestly fun to do, and some of the animations were pretty brutal too. So, although the combat works consistently most of the time, there are instances where it feels a bit repetitive and honestly too easy. So, because of this, I would have rathered a straight up GTA clone with Sopranos characters than whatever it is we got. Another big gameplay element is the dialogue options for Joey. Depending on what was asked or said, Joey has the options of either giving a smooth, nice answer, a neutral answer. This one is the most unique because Joey's answer can be either nice or mean depending on what was asked. And tough sees you giving a mean, rough answer. The dialogue options either sees you diffusing a situation or starting a fight, but whichever happens does not matter, as you will continue with the story no matter how a certain situation goes. But obviously some situations require certain attitudes to get what Joey needs. For example, when interrogating someone, it's good to use tough since they'll crack faster, and when talking to a girl or a regular civilian, it's smart to use the smooth option so you don't look confrontational or potentially lose respect. Respect is the last gameplay element I'll go over, and it works kinda how you think. Joey gains respect by doing missions and paying tribute. Joey can lose respect if he chooses the wrong dialogue or shoots his gun in a public area. If your respect meter goes all the way down, you are kicked from the mafia and get whacked the same way your father did. So now that you've learned about the game and its gameplay elements, it's now time to take a look at the story and the characters in it. The story of Sopranos Road to Respect starts off by introducing our main character Joey LaRocca in this crappy CGI cutscene. And one thing I want to say is, oh my god, these CG type of cutscenes slash animations are so bad. Every time I see this type of animation, it just reminds me of that old TMNT movie from the 2000s. The good thing is, it's only used for 2 cutscenes in the entire game, the intro and the game over slash death screen. In the crappy cutscene though, we see Joey being scolded by Tony about stealing, and how Pussy, his father, would be very disappointed, and how he might have work for him if he stays level-headed. Yes, in this game Joey is retconned as Pussy's son, and from watching the behind the scenes of the game, the devs did this so that Joey had a connection to Tony and the mob. And also so they wouldn't have to create a whole new character with a background who fans probably wouldn't know or care for, and for that reason I really like the decision. Once in the actual game, our first piece of action sees us going around the Bada Bing, saying hello to the main, quote, family members, and basically doing chores and errands for the other mobsters. Sil makes us beat someone up for disrespecting a stripper, a random stripper makes us threaten the DJ to change the music, and Tony makes us go get him some sandwiches. Not surprising. Once we return to Polly though, we see that he's in some sort of scuffle and asks us for help. During this, you see just how brutal the special moves can be. Once we beat the guy up, it turns out that Joey actually killed him and he's somehow surprised. Like, yeah, smashing someone's head on a urinal will probably do that. but once Paulie realizes he's dead, he sends Joey to get rid of the body. The next mission sees Joey and his not-so-smart friend Reggie going to the docks and trying to get rid of the body. At the docks, we find that security guards are there, but some you could just bribe off with smooth talking / money, and the others are just beat up. Because those are the only two options you have if you're in the mob. Everyone knows that. Before Joey and his friend dispose of the body, they find the person they just killed was named Mario, and that his watch was gifted to him by someone named Angie. Keep this in mind because it'll be important later. At the end of the mission, Joey sees Pussy's reflection in the water, which is something I like because if you watch The Sopranos, you know visuals and crazy dreams are a big part of the show. So seeing it in the game makes it feel like I'm actually in The Sopranos universe. The next mission sees us dumping the car somewhere, but Reggie gets distracted, well, because it's a casino with a bachelor party happening inside, so I think you could see why. Once at the casino, you meet new characters like Neil and Dr. Adams. After talking with Neil in private, we are forced to beat up some drunks that disrespected Joey's dad's puss, which is a recurring situation. It happens a lot throughout the game. After beating the drunks, we flirt with a lawyer that says she, quote, owes us, and Paulie calls to tell Joey that he needs to leave ASAP, but Reggie is nowhere to be found. On our search for Reggie, we find out that he's at a bachelor party upstairs, so we head there and beat a bunch of people up just to find out he's at a penthouse, and the only way to get in is with a date. Once Joey finds a date and heads to the penthouse, you find Reggie in a fetal position drugged. The next mission sees you going with Christopher to make a collection at a gym even though you don't even work for him, cause yup, just like in the show, Christopher is a little asshole. This mission, like some of the other missions in the game, is a filler mission, so I'll go over it quick. You and Christopher make your way through a gym, beating people up before meeting Saul, the gym's owner. And the ending sees you extorting him for money. Who would have thought? The next mission starts off by Vito letting us know that Angelo Buscetta has just been released from jail. And just guess who happens to be his favorite nephew? Mario, the guy who we disposed of, and most importantly, the guy whose watch is getting flexed around by Reggie. Because of this, Paulie tells Joey he has no other choice but to take Reggie out. Once on the apartment building roof, Reggie ends up getting cornered and killed. But guess who shows up right after? Tuzio, Angie's soldier. On the rooftop, you're forced into a firefight that sees Tuzio get shot and then fall off the building. 0% chance of survival right there. The next mission is another kind of filler mission that starts off by seeing you at AJ's rave being an employee. The beginning of the mission consists of you doing small stuff like frisking people and beating up drunks and junkies. The mission takes a turn though when AJ's idiot partner, wow, what is it with this game and terrible partners, but AJ's partner Frankie doesn't have the money to pay Desmond, AJ's quote other partner. Because of this, Desmond kills Frankie, takes AJ's car, and leaves us to deal with his gang. And that's AJ's rave. It went just about how I expected anything set up by AJ to go. The next mission starts off by AJ letting Joey know he has the address of the chop shop where his car is. Once there, the mission consists of Joey going from section to section of the chop shop, beating people up and asking questions in order to find the car. In the end, Joey gets the car, but is called by Paulie to go to Neil's office for his poker tab. The mission itself sees you going through each section of Neil's office trying to get to him. And as you could probably tell by now, the missions in this game are very linear and similar, just having a different setting. Once you make it to Neil's office though, like always, something goes wrong and two of Angie's men show up demanding Paulie's money. But you know Joey's not going out like that, so he beats the shit out of them and throws one of them out the window. But guess what happens right after? Yup, AJ's cars get stolen for the second time by Angie's men this time, so now Angie has Tony's full attention. As retaliation for stealing AJ's car, Tony sends Joey and Vito to destroy the Cherry Hill porn studio. The mission sees you going around the porn studio, beating people up and trying to make your way to the janitor room where the bomb will set off. But like always, something goes wrong. In this case, it's actually just that a porn star, Trishelle, is trapped inside,
And Joey just so happens to be fond of this porn star. I don't know how that's even possible because she's a literal porn star. But hey, I'm not Joey, so how do I know? But once Vito bails on you because he's like fat or something, it's up to you to save Trishelle from the fire and escape. The next mission sees AJ calling Joey to meet at Saul's gym because he thinks, quote, Desmond and the Dreads are after him, end quote. AJ turns out to be right, and Desmond and his gang show up to the gym. After one last heated battle with Desmond, we finally defeat him, but as a result of all this, AJ gets sent to the hospital and Tony is pissed. So Joey would have been honestly better off getting killed because having Tony Soprano pissed off at you is honestly worse than death. Once at the hospital, you find out, yeah, Tony's pretty pissed. But when getting a coffee for Tony, Joey overhears Dr. Adams talking to Angie about Tuzio's condition. Yes, that guy that we shot and then threw off a building is still somehow alive. During this, we find out Angie has it out for us for destroying his porn studio. Just imagine how pissed he'll be when he finds out we killed his nephew. After doing a side mission at the hospital though, Joey knows it's once and for all time to put Tuzio down. So as a result, he goes into his ICU room, beats up both his cousins, and then breaks the machine keeping him alive, meaning the end of Tuzio. In the second to last mission, Tony has finally had enough of Angie's disrespect and reckless behavior, so he sends Joey's to the docks to deal with it. Like all the other missions, it sees you making your way from the docks all the way to Angie's boat. On Angie's boat, you have like 2 mini boss fights that ends with Angie getting beat up and thrown off the boat. Pretty fitting if you ask me. The final mission sees Joey becoming a made man and ending his road to respect. This mission is basically just cutscenes where all the characters congratulate Joey, but it also shows Joey asking Tony about his father's death. And Tony basically says, yeah, we killed him, just don't talk about it. Joey also gets one more visual from Puss, saying he's happy for his son and wishes him the best. The ending sees the initiation Joey goes through to finally get made. So, that's Road to Respect. If I had to give my final thoughts on the game, I'd honestly say this game isn't that good. But that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy the time I had playing it. I really enjoyed the characters in this game, and not just the ones from the show. I think they did a good job with characters like Joey, making him not just likable, but believable enough for us to actually believe he could be an actual character on the show. I also really like the tone of the game. The game doesn't take itself too seriously, but at the end of the day, it has its tense and exciting moments, which is what The Sopranos is all about. With that being said, the reasons I feel like this game isn't, quote, good is because, well, the overall gameplay is nothing crazy and honestly got boring after a while. And the fact that they went with this type of gameplay style is so disappointing. I feel like a shitty GTA clone would have been better than what we got. The level design is another flaw. Every mission sees you doing the same crap over and over again, just at a different place. Also, the respect element of the game felt almost like a gimmick and had no real value in my opinion. All in all, Road to Respect is not a game I'd recommend to someone who's never watched The Sopranos, but for someone like me who's a huge fan of the show and loves gaming, I'd for sure recommend it because at the end of the day, I think this game was mostly made for fan service / money. The reason I say that is because you have to keep in mind this game came out before the second half of Season 6, so at the time the hype / popularity of The Sopranos was probably at an all-time high. So it would make sense for HBO to cash in on such a huge big TV show / name. But that does it for me. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe and enjoy.